In the dim light of a Texas sunset, the sound of a sliding steel guitar blends with the hush of unresolved feelings, and what echoes most clearly is the title, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. Not a debut album, not simply an EP. It's a story, a by bittersweet, twang-filled time capsule of youth, love, and the terrifying courage of trying. The EP's title, unflinchingly self-aware, landed with humor when it was first announced, met with raised eyebrows and chuckles from fans who'd been along for the ride since the chaotic beginning of Georgie and Mandy's unlikely relationship. But after the season 1 finale, the humor has receded, and what remains is something more fragile and poetic, a meditation on impermanence and the messy, beautiful work of becoming. Season 1 closed not with a door slamming or a screaming match, but with a pause, a silence in a hospital corridor, a hesitant goodbye, a glance that held both gratitude and grief. It wasn't the dramatic implosion some expected, but something quieter, and perhaps more heartbreaking. Georgie, eyes clouded with uncertainty, watched Mandy walk away with their daughter in her arms. Not forever, maybe, but for now. The EP reflects this emotional maturity. It isn't a breakup album, nor is it a victory lap. It's a patchwork of moments, a lullaby written on a sleepless night, a 2-minute track recorded in a garage while the baby napped, a voice memo of Mandy humming something half-remembered from her childhood. Each song is soaked in the mundane holiness of early parenthood and youthful marriage, the kind where love and logistics collide every day at 6:45 p.m. when someone forgets to thaw the chicken. The opener, All the Right. Mistakes, sets the tone. A banjo picks through a melody that feels like it's leaning forward, uncertain, hopeful. The lyrics are tender and real. We were kids in a grown-up's kitchen, burnt the toast, but kept on wishing that somehow this was meant to be. It's not an apology, but a recognition that love isn't always about knowing. It's about choosing, even when you're afraid. Georgie's voice cracks on the third verse, and it doesn't sound like production. It sounds like memory. And Mandy, never one to sit still for too long, comes in on the bridge, strong and clear. For a couple who often seemed out of sync, there's a surprising harmony here. Maybe that's the point. Sometimes when things fall apart, you can still find music in the ruins. Track 3, Tuesday Night Custody, is a standout, a waltz-time weeper with sly wit. It sketches out a weak split between obligations and hope. It's half country ballad, half diary entry, and entirely relatable to anyone who's tried to build a life around visitation schedules and split rent. There's no villain in this song, just two tired people doing their best. That kind of storytelling requires grace, and this EP has it in spades. First Marriage might be the most honest track on the record. The title phrase lands like a confession and a prophecy all at once. In the song, it's not delivered with cynicism, but with a shrug and a smile. Like someone saying, I didn't know how to do this, but I tried anyway. It's a song that understands the difference between failure and learning. The chorus lingers, long after the track ends. If this is our first try, maybe we get a second sky. And if we don't, then we still flew. The season 1 finale gave new weight to these lyrics. The show has always balanced humor with heartbreak, and this episode was no exception. When Mandy told Georgie she needed space, it wasn't an ultimatum, it was a request for clarity. And Georgie, who has spent most of the season growing into a man, clumsily, stubbornly, beautifully, didn't argue. He just nodded. That quiet surrender is echoed in the EP's closing song, Back Porch Future. A sparse acoustic number, it feels like an open letter to a daughter too young to understand the choices her parents are making. Mandy's voice carries this one solo. The lyrics aren't about blame. They're about legacy, about building a foundation even if the house might fall. It's about love that outgrows its shape. In the final lines, Mandy sings, Someday you'll ask what we were thinking, and I'll say we were just beginning. That's the emotional thesis of the EP and, arguably, the show. It's not about perfection or permanence. It's about the courage to begin, knowing that beginnings are often clumsy and endings aren't always failures. They're just turning points. Fans have taken to social media with tissues and theories, parsing every lyric, every pause, every sideways glance in that final episode. Some are heartbroken, others hopeful. But the EP doesn't ask for resolution. It just offers resonance. First Marriage isn't a promise broken, it's a chapter named honestly. Georgie and Mandy's love was real, even if it wasn't forever. And the music captures that complexity with grace, humor, and a surprising tenderness. It doesn't matter if there's a second marriage or a reconciliation down the road. What matters is that they tried. And in that trying, they created something, both a child and a kind of art, that will outlast the mess. The EP may be short, just 5 songs, but it feels complete in its incompleteness. Like a Polaroid with a thumbprint in the corner, it's not perfect, but it's proof that they were there. And they loved, and they tried. After all, not every great love story ends with happily ever after. Some just end with a song. And in the final silence after the last track fades, there's something beautiful. The sense that maybe, just maybe, the first marriage was exactly what it needed to be. For now, let me know if you'd like this adapted for a review, blog post, or script-style dialogue.